I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get a no call and quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. My heart on my sleeve, stress, shield my greed. That's how I get it. Success ain't no giving. Some days I don't hit, I don't sleep. When I'm focused, I'm dangerous. Down, wonder when I'm anxious. Ain't no limit till I tank. I'm running on fumes. The opposition don't amaze. The roads racing through the pavement. Get your hands out of my bag. I know that's because I've been in it. I don't need to brag. I guess that's what happens when you taking care of your business. But some family, you do the math. I'm out of my pocket. Houston, we got a problem. I ain't perfect. Let them watch me elevating. Got them nauseous. Cause I'm the pilot in the cockpit. Nose diving in the option. Woo! Watch how I get ahead. Watch how I get ahead. Watch how I get ahead. Woo!
It's time! Welcome to DFS by the Numbers with your host, Brady.
Better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out.
Well, I was froze for a second. What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers, and welcome to my final thoughts live stream for UFC Sao Paulo. And we have 11 fights now. So we had some madness at the weigh-ins. We lost the Gabriel Bonfim Vince Pichel fight. Vince Pichel did miss weight. We ended up weighing in again and making weight. And Gabriel could not make the weight. So Pichel said he's not fighting him. And then we lost the Victor Hugo Daniel Marcos fight, which I thought was a really good fight. Not sure what happened there other than Victor Hugo did miss weight. I'm not sure if Marcos turned down the fight or there was, Hugo wasn't cleared, or I'm not sure what happened, but that fight's off as well. And then we had another weight miss with Eduardo Mara. She missed weight. I think she was the biggest weight miss of the day. She weighed in like 119. But that fight is on still. So yeah, big shakeup of the card, but still a really good card. Still really looking forward to it. It's a card where early in the week I thought I'd have a lot more action than I do. Still have a decent amount of bets though. I have 10 bets on the line, 7 units on the line, but I thought it was going to have much more than that. I was going to have a lot of bets on the Marcos fight, and then I was going to also have a bet on Ribovics as the dog against Brenner. So did lose a couple betting opportunities. But yeah, still really good card. So we got this week. We got UFC 295 next week. I'm really looking forward to. But yeah, we have some good MMA coming up in the month of November. Really looking forward to it. Before we get into it, if you guys could please do me a favor, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. My betting breakdown video will be out in a couple hours. And then I'll also be doing a best bet live stream tomorrow afternoon. We got me, we got Narco Cop, and then we got Blood Money. So very good panel tomorrow. Really looking forward to that. And then also going to have a fire panel for the UFC 295 card. Cannot wait for that card. And I'll also be doing a couple guest appearances next week for 295 as well, which I'm looking forward to. So the plan is to do this stream and then start digging into UFC 295. There's a lot of spots sticking out. I'm probably going to get on some early plays or some underdogs sticking out for 295. But yeah, today we're talking UFC Sao Paulo. And yeah, it should be a fun card here. And really looking forward to it, although we did lose some fights. But let's check out the chat. We got Asai Padilla saying, let's go, what is up? We got Rex Lee in the chat. Come on. I agree. Come on. Yeah, I was a little bit late. I was recording my betting breakdown, and it took a little bit longer than expected. We got Bill in the chat. What is up, Bill? We got Pilot Jones. I can't believe the weight misses. Yeah, I struggled finding like a weigh-in stream this morning. So I actually didn't find one. I went to Twitter and I saw that like 2 fights were off. I'm like, what happened? My goodness. But yeah, the weigh-ins was just complete madness this week. Brother, don't sleep on six-pack Lewis. I don't care about the odds. Bet the house on Derek Lewis. I wouldn't bet the house, but I mean, nothing's wrong with ever sprinkling a little bit of money on Derek Lewis by knockout. I mean, that it's came through more often than not. Even fights he should lose. I mean, he goes out there and pulls it off quite a bit. Weight misses due to there being more gravity in Brazil. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but I don't know what happened. We got Foot saying he's taking a stab on Abus. I thought about it. I actually did think about it, but I can't trust a guy with only 5 minutes of gas. We got Blomdog saying, Brady back with the breakdowns. What is your favorite sub 2, sub 3 prop? I think the obvious answer is is Kyle Bahayo, sub 2, sub 3. I think those are very much on the table. I think there's a lot of submissions this week. I think Gabriel Bonfim is live for a submission. I think Almeida is live for a submission. Nascimento is live for a submission. Bohli is live for a submission. Vieira is live for a submission. Brenner's live for a submission. Fakhretdinov potentially. And Edward Amara is live for a submission. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of submissions this Saturday. We got Eric saying, where the hell are you? I am right here. And my bad, I was a little bit late there. We got Samuel in the chat. What's up, Brady? Can you tell him why we have a rematch between Nascimento and Mays, such a random matchmaking? Yeah, my thinking on that is I think the UFC just forgot that it even happened because I think we're all in the same boat. Like, that fight wasn't even too long ago, but I completely forgot about it. Like, that was completely removed from my memory. So, yeah, I think that's kind of what happened. They forgot about it. They needed to put a fight together, and that's what they came up with. And, yeah, I guess we're going to get to see it again. Got Chris in the chat. What is up, Chris? Aeon saying, let's go, Brady. What is up? We got D-Man saying, what's up, Brady? After successfully betting the house on Drew Dober and Emily Ducote, I lost it all on Jubilee. So you bet the house on Jubilee. He was on his way to winning, but once Braden started barking at him, it went bad very, very quickly there. In other words, who can I bet the house on this week? I don't know. I mean, I'm very confident in a lot of these fighters, but, betting the house is not something I'd ever recommend doing. I don't know. Gabriel Bonfim should go out there and win. I wouldn't bet the house against Derek Lewis. That's terrifying, but I don't really think there's anything I'd bet my house on. We got Linnell in the chat. Best intro. Appreciate you. He's saying, this makes you have to pick some underdogs. Yep. And I am picking a couple dogs. Actually, the couple dogs I did pick, either the fights are off or they flip to favorites now. But I'm still on Angela Hill as far as a pick. Vieira was a dog. He's now like a pick 'em. And I was also picking Ribovics that fights off. And then, yeah, this card is all shaken up now. What's up, Brady? Does 1 week without UFC seem too long? Yeah, I mean, it seemed way too long. I was bored last week. I was bored. And then once UFC's not going on, I end up betting on NFL and end up doing horribly. I mean, it's terrible. You mean Ismail Bonfim fight is off? Yes, my bad. Brady, what's up with some prize picks plays? Yeah, I don't have a ton of prize picks plays because a couple plays that I liked, the fights are off now. Like, I loved like 2 or 3 spots in the Ismail Bonfim fight, and that's off now. So, yeah, I don't know. But I'll see if we can find something for prize picks there. What's up, my man? Brady, which undefeated fighter on this card? There's 3, loses their O to Mara. Not Mara, because she's a cheater, and cheaters always win. Petrino, I don't think so. I don't think any. I mean, if one was to lose their O, I guess it'd be Petrino, but I hope not, because I have a bet on him. But yeah, I think the O's can continue there. We got Jenna in the chat. What is up, Jenna? Hopefully you're doing well. We got Forrest saying the spider on your leg during your breakdown was hilarious. Yeah, I mean, it was terrifying. Something was crawling on me, and hate spiders. But all right, guys, I say we get into it. A lot to talk about this week. We're going to kick it off to the first fight of the night. We got Mark Diakase going against Caio Fernandez, and we have some really interesting line movement on this fight here. So we have Mark Diakase opened up around minus 175. Some money came in on him early. He was sitting around like minus 200 range. And then early this week, money was like pouring in on Caio Fernandez. I'm like, what's going on? Diakase got all the way down to like minus 115, minus 120. And then throughout the past couple of days, money started pouring back in on Mark Diakase. I was able to get Mark Diakase at minus 139, so I didn't get the best price available. I know some people got like minus 120s, minus 130s, but I'm happy with the minus 139 there. I think he should be a bigger favorite. I kind of feel like Caio's path to victory is like a first-round finish, club and sub. I mean, that's typically how Diakase loses fights. Diakase has been submitted 3 times in the UFC, but one of those times was against Alves, where he did get a flying knee and then submitted shortly after. Another time was just this past fight against Joe Alvarez, where there was a head clash. The ref didn't see it. The ref was blind, and then He got submitted shortly after. So I kind of think it's going to have to be something like that. But yeah, I wasn't really impressed with Fernandez, at least in terms of when the fight gets extended. He slows down really, really bad. I don't think his takedown defense is that great. He's content to kind of play off his back. So yeah, I think Diakese has a lot of avenues to win this fight as long as the durability holds up. Should be the better striker, should be the minute winner on the feet, especially as the fight goes on, and then has that clear path to victory for, with the wrestling, the grappling. So I like Diakese here. I like him on the money line. I'd lean decision, but don't want to get too cute. So my first play is on that Diakese money line there. From a DraftKings perspective, I think it's a solid fight to target. You got Diakese with wrestling upside, control time upside, and across 15 minutes, this guy can literally go out there and he can get 10 takedowns. He's done it before. And then you have Kyle Fernandez, who I think is an underdog that is in play, because if Kyle Fernandez does win, it's probably in the first round and he probably breaks the slate. So great fight to target, but I do like Diakese to get this fight done here. Early lean Aspinall or Pavlovich. I haven't taped that fight yet. I taped the main event, Pereira and Yuri. I didn't tape the Aspinall Pavlovich fight. I'm not sure who I'm going to go with. It's about to pick him. I don't know. It's because it's so hard to pick against Pavlovich, but at the same time, if Aspinall gets one takedown, the fight's over very shortly after. So I don't know. I really don't know who I'm going to pick, so I don't want to even give an early prediction because it could very well change. We got Blown Dog saying, I agree, lots of subs incoming. Hopefully, Ismail is messing up. Gabriel is the totally the better Bonfim brother. Yeah, I agree. 100%. I agree. I think it's Aspinall pretty confidently. Takedowns and finish later in 2-3. Yeah, I mean, if he gets a takedown, it's a wrap. I mean, we saw the one time Pavlovich was off his back, he looked atrocious, but at the same time, he's got to get it down first. At UFC 294, you put money on the fight ends by KO in the main event. That's epic. Yeah, didn't hit a lot of bets for 294, but that was one of them. I think it was like plus 240. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't expecting a first round head kick knockout, but I gotta take it. I mean, that was a good cash there. We got Jacob in the chat saying, "Let's go." What is up, Jacob? How you doing? And yes, he's terrifying. All right, guys, we'll keep moving on. We got Eduardo Mara going against Montserrat Ruiz. And we have Mara, who on some books, she's the biggest favorite on the card. And then on other books, she's like the second biggest favorite on the card. I see Bet Rivers has her at minus 715. So for one, she's a cheater. And then as we know that, cheaters, they win more often than not, especially as of late. These fighters have been cheating and missing weight, and they've been going out there and winning. So not only is she already a whole weight class bigger than Ruiz, 6 inches taller, 6-inch reach advantage, but she came in here missing weight by a good bit. I think she weighed in like 119. So yeah, I think this cheater goes out there and wins pretty convincingly. But I'll be honest, I've been like burning money, like throwing money in the trash on WMMA violence props as of late. Luckily for this week, they completely overpriced him. I mean, the under 2.5 is minus 165. The fight doesn't go as minus 200. Like at the end of the day, this is a strawweight fight, 115 pounds. And at Ruiz is tough for what it's worth. So I think Mara should finish, but we're getting crap odds on it. Like Mara inside the distance is minus 165. That's terrible. I would need a much better price tag on that. So, and on top of that, there's not a ton of information out there on Mara. I was only able to find 3 fights. One was like an amateur fight. I think what we're doing here is we do have a lot of fights on Ruiz, and from what we have seen, she has looked awful. I think we're more so fading Ruiz, and that's kind of a dangerous thing to do, but I think there's a lot of things going against Ruiz here. She's much smaller. Mara missed weight, and I think Mara crushes here, but there's really no way to play it. I wouldn't recommend putting a minus 625 WMMA favorite into a parlay. I don't think that's the best recipe for success there, but I'd be fairly surprised if Ruiz won at the same time. It's a big pass fight for me. If anything, on DraftKings, Mara makes some sense, 9,400, just because she's going to be less owned than like a Jonathan Almeida, less owned than a Bonfim, Gabriel Bonfim as well. So, but outside of that, I don't have a ton of interest in this fight. Mara is the most solid bet on the card besides Bonfim. I wouldn't really bet her. I mean, if you, what I don't like on cards like this, if you parlay up Gabriel Bonfim with Eduardo Mara, a 2-leg parlay is going to get you, let's see, Mara with Gabriel Bonfim is going to come out to minus 310. I mean, what are we doing there? And then so we got minus 310 there. And I'm sure a lot of people have this parlay because I know people parlayed Eduardo Mara, Gabriel Bonfim, and Ismael Bonfim. But say we add in, I don't know, Jailton Almeida. Those three are minus 175. And then I guess we can throw in Renat Fakhretdinov. That's a minus 101. I mean, I hate chalky juice parlays. They do hit a decent amount, but I don't know. There's just not a lot of value, not a lot of bang for your buck. I mean, the juice is not worth the squeeze on it. So, yeah, she should win, but it just doesn't add anything really to a parlay. And I'm not really laying 6 units to win one. It seems like they're doing the extra long rehydration window in Brazil as well. What was that? I don't know. I don't know what time of the weigh-ins were. I woke up and they were like already over. So yeah, it's going to be extra long. We got Sean in the chat. What is up, Sean? Sean, your lock is off the card. He missed weight. Bonfim, Ismael Bonfim was Sean's lock. He said Pichel had a 0% chance to win. My parlay is Almeida, Bonfim, and Fakhretdinov. Yeah, we talked about it. Those two, as of now, came out to minus 175, but you probably got it earlier in the week, which would have been closer to plus money there, which I think it hits. I'd be shocked if it didn't hit there. So good luck on the parlay. I do have 2 parlays myself, by the way, which I haven't done a lot of parlays lately, but it's one of those cards parlays. All right. We'll move on to the next fight. This is, I don't know. This is a fight that I just want really nothing to do with. We got Denise Gomes going against Angela Hill. So a lot of people are on the Angela Hill side as a dog, and I think that makes a lot of sense. But the more I talk about it, the more I think about it, the more this fight really scares me here. And it looks like money as of late has been pouring in on Denise Gomes, and Angela Hill's now plus 130, which again it's tempting. But what scares me here in this matchup is Angela Hill's 38 years old. She just took a massive beating against Mackenzie Dern, massive beatdown from pillar to post. It wasn't even competitive in any aspect of the fight, on the feet, on the mat, nowhere. She got dropped by Mackenzie Dern, hurt multiple times by Mackenzie Dern, not the best look. And what else I don't like is, Denise Gomes, she's 23. She's so much younger. She's going to be improving. And then all the finishing upside is on the Gomes side. On top of that, in terms of the striking, I think Angela Hill's the better striker. I think she's going to be the minute winner. But, say Angela Hill's doing the better work on the feet, outlanding Gomes. I mean, it takes one big shot to change the fight, to sway the round, to sway these judges. And we are in Brazil, which is not going to favor Hill. And on top of that, Angela Hill gets robbed a lot. So even if her path to victory is a decision in Brazil, I don't know. I just think there's a lot of things that make me want to stay as far away from this fight as possible. Again, a lot of people are on that Angela Hill dog money. Makes sense, but I don't know. This fight's really sketching me out. I'm going to stay away from a betting perspective. From a DraftKings perspective, it's another fight I'm probably going to stay away from for the most part. If anything gets a shot on Denise Gomes, she has finishing upside, but I think I'm going to fade this for the most part. A fight that, again, is just really, really sketching me out. And I don't think I can touch this one. I just parlayed the unders for better odds. Yeah, I think the under in the Almeida fight, the Bonfim fight makes a lot of sense. And then I don't like the under in the Fakhretdinov fight, but let's see here. Angela Hill seems, like a parlay piece. Really? Oh, over. Oh, I thought you said Angela Hill. Her money line's a parlay piece. The over, yeah, that makes sense. Her over 2.5 seems like a parlay piece. I like her to win, but she goes to the split decision all the time and gets screwed in most of them. Yeah, I mean that's what's scaring me. I'm with you. I think the over is solid. Denise Gomes is a dog. Yes, she is. She's going to mess up Angela Hill, 23 and improving. She is a dog, and she is going to definitely try to mess her up. Sketchy fight. I kind of have a feeling that, Angela Hill might even get robbed once again. I have a feeling she might be the minute winner, but maybe Denise Gomes lands like a big shot, and these judges are very sketchy. So it's a fight I'm staying away from. A lot of people are betting this fight, and I wish you all luck. It's a fight I want nothing to really do with. All right, we'll move on. We have Vitor Petrino going against Modestas Bukauskas. So I have 2 parlays on this card. I am using Vitor Petrino as a parlay piece. I like him to win here. I don't know whether it's by finish or by decision. I do lean towards him knocking out Bukauskas, but Petrino's another one of these young guys, 26 years old. He's improving. He's evolving. And I really like that about Petrino. Petrino, you take a look at all of his fights outside the UFC. What's he doing? He's starching guys. He's knocking them out. He has vicious, vicious power. But ever since coming into the UFC, he's turned into a wrestler, and a very good one, a very good wrestler. He can wrestle. He can wrestle for 15 minutes. His cardio is solid. He can go 15 minutes if need be. I think there's a lot of reasons to like Vitor Petrino, and he's going against Modestas Bukauskas, who's coming in here on enemy territory. And Bukauskas, his path to victory is like a point fighting, boring, terrible fight. He's going to try to make it as boring as possible. He's going to try to do a lot of nothing. Whereas with Petrino, he's going to try to take off Bukauskas' head on the feet and then also mix in takedowns as well. So I feel like Bukauskas does have like a slim path to victory, a boring, terrible point decision fight in Brazil, whereas Petrino can out-volume Bukauskas. Petrino can land the bigger shots than Bukauskas. He can knock out Bukauskas. He can wrestle Bukauskas. I think there's a lot of avenues for victory for Petrino here. So, yeah, this money line's been getting smacked. Earlier in the week, like there was a big bet, it looked like, came in on Bukauskas, and Petrino went all the way to like minus 190 on Bet Online. I'm like, what's going on? And then as of late, just money's been flying in on Petrino. He's now minus 240, minus 250. And I think that probably continues there. So I did parlay him up. I parlayed him at like minus 245. And I'll talk about the other parlay piece at the end of the show there. But I think Petrino's a solid parlay piece this week. And again, I wouldn't really mess around with the knockout prop, the submission prop, the decision prop, because I think it could be either three. But I do lean knockout there. From a DraftKings perspective, I don't mind some Petrino. Like I said, knockout upside, takedown upside. And then as far as Bukauskas, can't get there. It's hard to play a guy that doesn't do anything. So don't mind some Petrino from a DraftKings perspective as well. What are the parlay plays, man? Thinking both Bonfims and Petrino. Yeah, I did parlay Petrino. Ismail Bonfim's off the card, but I know a lot of people parlayed him already. So that fight's off, but I think Gabriel, his brother, is a good parlay piece as well. But I am playing that Gabriel fight a different way. Petrino has ridiculous scrambling power. He turned around on a body triangle like it was nothing. I mean, he's very physically strong. And yeah, he's very powerful. That was impressive there. Really used no technique, just pure strength in that. Great scheduling by the UFC. I can catch a nap while the Bukauskas fight is on. Yeah, his fights are rough. But I'm hoping Petrino makes this a little bit more exciting there. But yeah, Bukauskas, his fights are terrible. Abu's redemption arc. We'll see. I don't like the fact that he's taking this fight on short notice, though. That's what I don't like. For a guy that has cardio concerns in general, don't like that he's taking it on short notice there. Hill and Gomes, a good stack. I don't really think so. I think there's better options. And you're absolutely talking cash, right? Like I would not stack this fight I think this is a terrible fight to play, to be honest, the Gomes Hill fight. So I wouldn't. We got Uncle Weezy in the chat saying, "Oi, what is up, Uncle Weezy?" And then yes, Petrino is Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week, which makes me like Petrino much more than I already do. I like Petrino. There are 3 spots sticking out on this card that I like, and Petrino was one of them earlier in the week. Petrino's going to make it short. I hope so. Quick and very painful and brutal knockout would be nice. Not a big fan of Bukauskas. All right, we'll move on to the next fight. We have a Renat Fakhretdinov going against Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos. Fakhretdinov, pretty big favorite here, and I agree with it. This is a guy that, I don't know, I was kind of wishy-washy on. I thought he was good, he was talented, but he hasn't really fought the best competition. Outside the UFC, I think his record's very padded. And even inside the UFC, he hasn't fought the best competition in the world, but he's going out there and he's just looking dominant in each and every single fight. He took down Brian Battle so many times, controlled him for 14 minutes in a 15-minute fight. Did the same thing to Andreas Michailidis, took him down so many times, controlled him for 14 minutes out of a 15-minute fight, and then he beat Kevin Lee in 60 seconds. I mean, I think they're not Fakhretdinov's the real deal, and I think it's a very winnable fight for him against Zaleski dos Santos, who in theory is a step up, but I think he'd win this fight. Just by mixing in takedowns, landing big shots on the feet. I don't think Zaleski has the best takedown defense. He's now getting up there in age. I think Fakhretdinov does win this fight. Minus 325. I don't love it. What I don't mind, though, is Fakhretdinov by decision. which is plus 185. I don't hate that. But I don't know. Fakhretdinov, like, time props are so tough to call because he didn't finish Andreas Michailidis, which still to this day makes no sense. Like, everybody finishes Andreas Michailidis. Michailidis gassed out in 2 minutes. So that doesn't make a ton of sense. And then he finished Kevin Lee in 60 seconds. So I don't know. It's kind of sketchy in that aspect, but I kind of do lean the decision at plus money. I think that's how I would play it if I was to bet this fight. And then from a DraftKings perspective, Fakhretdinov's a DK scoring monster. He has knockdown power. He has a ton of wrestling upside, a ton of control upside as well. And he's only 9,100, which makes him cheaper than the Bonfim brothers, makes him cheaper than Almeida, makes him cheaper than somebody else. Mara's up there as well. So yeah, I like Fakhretdinov a lot on DraftKings this week, and that's where I'm going to play a lot of them. Weezy 2024, I agree. Hopefully, Weezy's got my vote for sure. That's for sure. Kyle smokes Abus, short notice in Brazil, weak cardio, not a good sign. I agree with all that. Abus just sucks. I could see that. Oh, I don't think he sucks, but I think has about 5 minutes of gas. A lot of money poured in on Renat since the line opened, rightfully so. I'm sure he's a very popular parlay piece this week. We're not so good. I didn't believe in him at first, but he looks slick and passes the eye test. Absolutely. We got my computer not working. There we go. Brady, have you ever had success with stacking fights in a lineup? I have. It was, I forget which card it was. It was Augusto Sakai versus Overeem. It was Sakai Overeem. It was a couple of years ago. It was a 7-fight card. So many fights got canceled, and there were only 7 fights on the card. I stacked the main event, Sakai and Overeem, and ended up taking down a tournament. And I think I only shared it with like one other person. So I have before, but it's not too often of a thing whatsoever. This is on paper his toughest fight, but I still think it rules. I'm feeling the same exact way. I'm slightly better physical condition than Biden. There you go. Shout out to Uncle Weezy. 2024. He'll be running for president there. We got Evan saying hard to take money from guys who make peanuts. Lots of guys who missed weight are probably on something close to 10 deals. I agree, Paul, but it's hard. I must have missed. Oh, I missed your comment there, Paul. I think it's time to rework the weigh-in rules and weight miss repercussions, huh? Yeah, that'd be nice. We've had some really good fights fall through, due to, fighters missing weight. All right, we'll keep moving on. We have Elvis Brenner going against Kyan Kushinski. We got Brenner is, I think, minus 210. And we got Kushinski, which I still don't know how to pronounce his last name. Maybe I'll get it one day, but it's really, really hard. Kushinski. Anyway, Brenner's minus 210. Kushinski is plus 180. And yeah, I went back, looked through my notes, my DWCS notes for Kushinski. He fought in week 7. And yeah, I liked what I saw when I was doing my notes. Went back and retaped him. And yeah, he's really good. I picked him to win his fight on the Contender Series. I picked him to win actually by decision. And he went out there and starched the dude. But yeah, I think he's really good. I think he's a really good prospect. I would like to see him on a full camp. And if he was on a full camp, I would be betting him here absolutely at plus 180. I think this guy's the real deal. He has power on the feet. He has good wrestling. He has solid cardio as well. It's just he's taken this fight on a couple days' notice. And he's taken this fight on a couple days' notice against a guy like Elvis Brenner, who's next level tough, has a ton of heart, has very good cardio, and has had a full camp for this fight. So with all the circumstances factored in, I do slightly lean Brenner, probably winning this fight late or even winning the decision. This is going to be like one of those wars, I think, where neither guy's just going to fall down. And if somebody does fall down, I think it's going to be late. So kind of lean Brenner late, but nothing's really sticking out here. I would not touch that price tag on Brenner. I see some people taking the dog shot on Kushinski, and I would be there as well, but not on this short notice for him. So it's a pass spot for me. From a DraftKings perspective, I think both guys are in play. Brenner obviously has a ton of value. He's minus 210 at only 8,200. So I think Brenner is going to be one of the most popular plays on the slate this week, and I get it there. So from a DraftKings perspective, I'm very heavy on this fight. From a betting perspective, nothing's really sticking out. And it was actually going to take a dog shot on Ribovics in the Ribovics Brenner fight, but Ribovics had to pull out due to some reason there. So, yep, give me Brenner, but not a ton of confidence there. Antigulov got knocked down in 47 seconds. My heart is broken. Did he fight today? Typically Antigulov at least lasts a couple minutes there until he gasses out. But yeah, 47 seconds. Wow. Let's see. I bet Kion pretty big. I think he makes Brenner look bad. On short notice, though, I don't know. I think he can make him maybe look bad early on. It's just, is he going to get Brenner out of there? I'm not sure. I wish he was taking this fight on a full cam. All right. And we'll move on. We got the main card opener now. We got Armin Petrosyan going against Rodolfo Vieira. And there's a few spots sticking out for me on this fight here. So I have 4 bets on this fight, and I only have 10 bets on the card. So what I like here is the Vieira early props and the Petrosyan late props. I think early on, Vieira is going to have a lot of opportunities to finish this fight. He's a world champion, BJJ black belt, who's very physically strong, very good wrestling, and obviously top-notch grappling. Cardio sucks, but, he's going to be able to get fights down to the mat easily. And this is one of those fights. I mean, he's taken on Petrosyan, who has the worst takedown defense I've ever seen. I think it's between him and Slava Borshev, who we'll see next week, between who has the worst takedown defense in the UFC. And Petrosyan's right there. 36% takedown defense. I actually thought it would be a lot lower than 36% just because he gets taken down in every single fight. Even fights outside the UFC, he's getting taken down. So Rodolfo Vieira, if he wants to take him down, I mean, he will. And then if he does take him down, he'll have a lot of opportunities to find that early submission. But of course, if he does not get that early submission, he's probably going to slow down. He's going to gas out. And although I think Vieira has improved his striking, he's not anywhere near the level of striker as a Petrosyan there. So what's interesting to me is this line, though. This line makes no sense. I really see nobody on Vieira this week. And Vieira is now minus 117 and Petrosyan's minus 103. I'm not sure what's going on, but yeah, I think Vieira is going to have some opportunities early. So I bet half unit shot on Vieira sub 1 plus 500. And then I bet a quarter unit on Vieira sub 2 plus 850. And then I also bet Petrosyan KO round 2 quarter unit plus 1,000. And then Petrosyan KO round 3 quarter unit plus 1,700. So I think it's Vieira early, Petrosyan late. I think somebody's getting served here. I think fight doesn't go to decision. Makes a lot of sense. And I think somebody's going down. From a DraftKings perspective, I don't mind both sides. I lean the Vieira side because he's cheaper, because he has takedown upside, control time upside, early finish upside. But if Petrosyan wins, it's probably a late finish. Some solid volume mixed in there, a knockdown or two. See, I don't mind either guy, but I do lean Petrosyan, or I do lean Vieira from a DraftKings perspective. Very fun fight here to kick off the main card, and 40% of my bets are on this very fight. Vegas had to cancel the Ribovic's fight once they realized they screwed up the line. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Ribovic's was a pretty decent-sized dog, which I thought the fight should have been aligned a lot closer. Black belt Hunter by sub round 1, round 2. He's not going to lose in Brazil. He looks nice and juiced up also. Yeah, I think it's going to have to be early for Vieira, and that's why I like those early props there. Everyone craps on Vieira's cardio, and it was bad against Fluffy, but he has a round 2 and round 3 sub in the UFC as well. Yeah, that's why I bet the round 2 as well. Vieira has 8 wins by submission. 7 of them come in the first or second round. And I think he has 1 third round sub as well. Petrosyan has a good ground defense and get-up game, though he does have good ground defense and get-up game. You are right. Is it just me, or is Vieira just not that good? I don't get it. He's really good at one thing, and that's BJJ, and he's one of the best grapplers in the UFC. It's just he doesn't really have cardio. He's not the best striker. But he's going to get opportunities here against Petrosyan, who literally has like a 30% takedown defense. It's going to be very interesting. The Petrosyan bettors are going to be sweating bullets if this fight hits the mat, that's for sure. But if Petrosyan can survive 7.5 minutes, he's going to win the fight. And back to this. That third round submission against Stoltzfus, for one, is not great. He's cut. And for two, nothing really happened in that fight. Vieira, I don't think, even shot 1 takedown in the first round, which if he does that, and if Vieira doesn't shoot takedowns here, he's getting knocked out probably in the first. So, did you see that PFL has purchased Bellator? Yes, I have, and has plans to run them separately for the next 2 years. Very odd to me why they didn't merge. I was thinking the same thing. Why not merge it? Yeah, it doesn't make a ton of sense to me, but we'll see how it works out for them. Let's go. Derek Lewis by KO1 plus 500. My balls is hot. She shocks the world again. That's how he does. That's how he does it. I even think if Derek Lewis wins, I think it's probably in 60 seconds as well. DK just have opened up props. They all should be out. You're talking about for like the early prelims? Yeah, early prelims. I think they just recently got them out. Professor Chris saying I might fade a Stars and Scrubs approach on DK because I feel like everyone will have one. That's the truth. Thoughts? Yeah, I mean, if you want to get different, I mean, because for me, yeah, I like Almeida, I like Gabriel Bonfim, I like Fakhretdinov, and then I'm doing Stars and Scrubs myself. There's not a ton in that mid range that I really love. I mean, I like Diakasi, I like the Vieira Petrosyan fight, and then obviously the Brenner fight as well. So yeah, I don't hate it. I guess you can make some solid lineups doing that. All right. We'll move on to the next fight. We got Kyle Bohli going against Abus Magomedov. And yeah, Abus, he tricked me. I thought this guy was the real deal. I thought he was legit. And then he went out there in a 5-round fight and gassed out in 4 minutes, which was weird. It wasn't the best look in the world. And I went back and I was watching his fights. I'm like, man, this guy's really good. He can wrestle if he wants to. He can grapple if he wants to. He's a phenomenal striker. He has a ton of power. His takedown defense looks elite. Like I don't think I've ever seen anybody take him down. He looks like the real deal. But in the UFC, you got to be able to fight for longer than 5 minutes. And he showed in the Sean Strickland fight that that's just not the case. I mean, his cardio looked atrocious in that fight. And I get it. He's a guy that's now 33 years old at this point. He's very rarely ever seen the second round. Like, I think the last time he saw a second round before the Sean Strickland fight was like 2018. It was a long time ago. So, yeah, he's something that gets out of the first round not too often. And, yeah, I mean, he's coming in here on short notice, which I don't like. And is he going to go out there and finish Bohli in the first round? I kind of lean towards no. I actually think Abus wins the first round, though. I think he should be able to stuff the takedowns pretty easily in the first 5 minutes. I think he's going to be the better striker in the first 5 minutes. But once this fight reaches the second round, I think that's where Kyle starts to take over, take this fight into deep waters and find a late finish there. So, yeah, I like Kyle. The late props here are something that stick out quite a bit. I thought they would be poorly priced because Kyle actually did just get a second round submission in his last fight against Mikhail Olazechuk. But submission round 2 for Kyle plus 950. I have a quarter unit on that. And then I have submission round 3 plus 1700 for a quarter unit. Like those price tags. I think he loses the first, but I think he starts to take over. I think he drowns Magomedov and submits him in the second or third once he's gassed out. So I like those late finish props for Bohli. I think they're very much in play. From a DraftKings perspective, I think both sides are fine. Bohli, takedown upside, late finish upside. Magomedov 7,000. If he wins, it's probably in the first round, so I don't mind some shots on him for that reason. And there's not a ton of underdogs this week, so I don't mind some Magomedov on DK, but that's about it for me. Should be a very interesting fight, though. Yeah, I don't know. I think Magomedov, I wish he had more than 5 minutes of cardio. If he did, I'd probably pick him outright, but I can't trust him to fight outside the first round. Kyle is the Dagestani killer. Yes, he is. Yes, he is, 100%. Could see Kyle lay on his back for the whole second and get the sub in the late third. I'm kind of leaning third as well. I think Magomedov is going to be good enough to survive at least that second round, but I think he's going to be very, very gassed out in the third round. And on DraftKings, I think they were one of the first books to get some props out. Unless you're talking like they didn't have the first 2 fights there for a while, though. I live bet Sean about 3 minutes into round 1. Heck yeah. Against Abus, such a great play. You could see Abus fading fast. He faded very fast. He was huffing and puffing 4 minutes in. It was a terrible look for him. I think Abus is a live dog, but not confident. He gassed so bad his last showing. Yeah, if he had cardio, I think he'd be super live viewish. He hasn't really shown to have it. So, and then he's on short notice, which also another sign I don't really like. So, yeah, I think Kyle gets it done late, preferably. All right, moving on to the rematch that absolutely nobody asked for. We got Rodrigo Nascimento going against Dontal Mays, and I have 2 parlays on this card, and I parlayed up Rodrigo Nascimento here. Yeah, I think he wins this fight once again. I feel like nothing's changed throughout the last 2 years. Like, these guys fought only like 2 years ago. It wasn't too long ago. And in the first round, Nascimento cleanly outstruck Dontal Mays. He took him down, and then in the second round. The striking was a little bit more competitive, but Nascimento took down Dontel Mays, took his back and choked him out shortly after. So I just feel like Nascimento has a couple paths here, but the biggest path being the wrestling. Nascimento's shown that he can go out there and he can get takedowns. He was able to get multiple against Tanner Boser. And Dontel Mays has shown a 55% takedown defense. And Nascimento, his base is BJJ. He's training at ATT for the last several years. He's at a great gym. He's still young, 30 years old. He's improving. The striking's getting better. I think he's getting smarter. He's fighting smarter. So yeah, I feel like Nascimento has a lot of ways to win this fight. I think he can win it by decision. I think he can win it by submission. I am leaning submission. I think he can even win by knockout just because Dontel Mays has been knocked out a few times as well. But I think the submission is going to be very, very live there. Mays has been subbed twice in the UFC and once was by Nascimento. So I think another sub is in play here. But I just parlayed the money line because I could really see any outcome. I think for Mays to win this fight, he's going to have to, for one, he's going to have to maybe knock out Nascimento, which it could happen. It's a heavyweight fight, or it's going to have to be like a very greasy, sloppy type fight, split decision type fight. So yeah, I like Nascimento here. From a DraftKings perspective, I think both sides are solid. Nascimento takedown upside, sub upside. Mays, if he wins, nobody's going to be playing him. He's going to be super low owned. And if he wins, it is maybe a knockout. So, but I think Nascimento gets it done here. And I did parlay him up with something else in the main event we'll talk about there. Ismail fight is off. Yes, the Ismail fight is off. The bum missed the weight. Yes, he did miss weight by it wasn't that much. I think he missed maybe 2 pounds, but Pichel declined to fight. And yeah, really wanted to see that fight. Must have been my app, as I had nothing but money lines. Dang, yeah, it must have been your app or maybe where you live. But yeah, I've had stuff on DK for a couple of days now. I agree. Mays is terrible, and Nasi is a decent and just as big. Mays seems to be getting worse all the time. That is true. He just seems to be getting worse. I mean, it's weird with Dontel Mays. This has to be up there with Smith versus Span 2 and rematches nobody ever asked for. I mean, I don't think anybody asked for this one. I definitely didn't ask for it. What a terrible fight. And we got to get Darcy and Bonjour. What is up? Get Darce Bonjour to you as well. Great to see you doing moneyline parlays. Don't get too used to it. But yeah, Nascimento's a spot I liked a lot this week. Vitor Petrino's a spot I liked a lot this week. And then there was another money line I liked a lot this week. I forget which one it was though. But yeah, parlays this week, doing 2 of them. Probably for the best. I was worried on missing the 2 Bonfim parlay. Yeah, that was a very popular parlay piece of this week. Shame it is off. I didn't do it personally, but thought about maybe doing it. We got Axel saying, hey, can you shout out my wife, Jess? I'm a big fan listening to you in the car. Shout out to you, Axel, for listening. And then also shout out to Axel's wife, Jess. Thank you all for listening there. Nascimento lost to a bum in Dawkins. Man, what would Dawkins do to Dontel Mays? I mean, why do you think Dawkins is a bum? Dawkins, I don't think is a bum. What I think happened with Dawkins is he fought Curtis Blades, he fought Derek Lewis, and who else did he fight? Curtis Blades, Derek Lewis, Jairzinho Rosenstruck, and then Khalil Roundtree. I mean, all 4 of those guys would destroy Dontel Mays and probably Nascimento. So yeah, I don't think Dawkins is a bum, but yeah, he's 0-4 in his last 4 fights. In that footage, Mays was training with John Jones when he got injured. That is true. He was. Embarrassing. All right. Move on to the co-main event. We got Gabriel Bonfim going against Nicholas Dalby. We got Bonfim. It all depends on the book, but on some books, he's the biggest favorite on the card. Some books, he's the second biggest favorite to Eduardo Mara. But yeah, Bonfim anywhere from -600 to -655 at this point. The way I'm playing this is I like the Bonfim submission prop at plus money. We'll take a look at it here. Bonfim has 15 fights. 80% of his wins come by submission, which that is, I think, 11 or 12 submission wins for Bonfim. He does have power on the feet, but a lot of times he's getting club and subs. And what I like about Bonfim is he's probably one of the best opportunistic submission artists I've ever seen. Like anytime this guy goes for subs, he gets them like 9 out of 10 times, maybe even 10 out of 10. I mean, this guy, whenever he goes for a sub, he is 100% getting it every single time. And the one time we did see Dalby finish, which it's not official because Jesse Ronson did pop for PEDs, but it was a club and sub where Jesse Ronson hurt him and then submitted him shortly after. I kind of see something like that happening. But yeah, Bonfim's going to have 3 rounds to do it. I'm not sure which round it is. Could be first, could be second, could be third. Bonfim has sub wins in first, second, and third rounds, but I kind of lean it being early. So yeah, I have 1 unit on the sub prop plus 140. That's really all that's sticking out. You know, he's a big favorite here. It's hard to parlay up a minus 650 favorite, but if you got him early in the week at minus 350, I think that makes a lot more sense. But at this point, he's probably unparlayable. It doesn't really add anything to your parlays. But yeah, you should go out there and get this win. 100% finish rate for Dalby or for Bonfim. I think that continues here against Dalby, and I think he is the first person to officially finish Nicholas Dalby there. And I think it makes it look pretty easy. From a Draftkings perspective, not touching Dalby 6,900, but I will be pretty heavy on Gabriel Bonfim at 9,300. I think he has finishing upside here and a lot of it. So I like Bonfim here, like him quite a bit, but that's no hot take there. They rushed Docker to the top very fast because the weight class was so dead at the time. Yeah, he did exactly that. He made his debut against Parker Porter. And it went from Parker Porter to Nascimento to Oleinik to Shamil, and then just went to Derek Lewis, Curtis Blades, and Rosenstruck, like top 10 guys in the heavyweight division. And then he goes down to light heavyweight, and they give him Roundtree, which is it's not fair. Just not fair. Dawkins' flab was flying around like a lava lamp in those KO losses. That is true. I have like one Mays that have 10 lineups. I can't stand watching him from a DK standpoint. I can't stand watching Mays from really any standpoint. I mean, I don't know what's wrong with him, but you know, maybe he'll get it together one day, but I don't know if he's getting it together anytime soon. If Dawkins is a bum, what the heck is Mays? Dawkins has fast, accurate hands. Mays punches like he's glued to the floor. I don't know how to explain Dontel Mays' style. It looks like he's drunk. It looks like he's just fighting drunk in there. I don't know. Yeah, I think Dawkins would F up Dontel Mays pretty easily there. Bonfim will pop him like 5 to 8 times, then Dalby will shoot and get choked, guillotine or Darce round 1. He's no joke and future contender. Better, absolutely, I agree. I think he is both that. I think he's a future contender, and I think he is the better Bonfim. The only thing I don't like about Bonfim, Gabe, is his striking defense. He does leave a lot of openings to be hit, but that's not going to matter here. I mean, Dalby has no power, so he'll be fine, but yeah, he's a problem. He has good striking, tons of power, and then, like I said, one of the best opportunistic submission games I've ever seen. Bonfim F'd my night, just like the Walker fight 2 weekends ago. Yeah, luckily I didn't have anything on that Walker fight, but you're saying Ismail F'd up your night? Yeah, I'm sure Ismail kind of destroyed a lot of parlays, but at least it pushes and you don't lose, right? We don't talk about Dontel. You don't like talking about it. You're parlaying the under 1.5 in the main event. Close. You're very close. All right. Let's talk about that main event. Jonathan Almeida going against Derek Lewis. Yeah, I do have a parlay piece that I really like on this fight, and it's going to be in both my parlays this week. So the parlays I have, the first one, I have 1.5 units on Vitor Petrino, parlayed with the fight won't start round 3 in the Almeida-Lewis fight, also known as the fight ends in round 1 or round 2. That came out to minus 145, 1.5 units to win a little bit over 1. And then the other parlay is same thing. Lewis Almeida fight won't start round 3, ends in the first 2 rounds, parlayed with Nascimento money line. That came out to minus 125, and I have 1.25 units on that to win 1. So a total of 2.75 units parlayed with this fight won't start round 3 parlay piece. And to be honest, I think it doesn't even start round 2 here. I think Lewis is going to have about 30 seconds to land something big. I think he's going to bull rush Almeida. I really think he is. We've seen Lewis be super aggressive his last 4 or 5 fights, like very, very aggressive, which is not typically like Derek Lewis. You know, Lewis is a guy that does a lot of nothing and then he explodes, and that's not been Derek Lewis as of late. Derek Lewis as of late has been getting after it very quickly, which is leading to finishes, very early finishes. We'll take a look at Derek Lewis's last couple fights, and Derek Lewis First round win against Delima, first round loss against Spivak, first round loss against Pavlovich, second round loss against Tuivasa, first round win against Dawkins. His last 5 fights have all finished under 1.5 rounds. I think it happens here as well. I think Derek Lewis is going to try to land something early, a flying knee, an uppercut on the way in, something early. But if Jailton Almeida takes down Derek Lewis, I mean, it's going to be over very shortly after. Derek Lewis's takedown defense isn't great. He doesn't have a ground game. He lets guys transition into dominant positions, mount side control with no resistance. And if you do that against a guy like Jailton Almeida, I mean, you're gonna get finished. So I don't know if it's a TKO or a sub, but I think Almeida probably does win. But Lewis, you can never count him out. I learned that a long time ago. You can never ever count out Derek Lewis. There seems like there's a lot of fights where he really has no business winning that fight. But in the heavyweight division, it doesn't really matter a lot of times. And Derek Lewis is one of the hardest hitters in the division. And we've never seen Almeida hit. Like literally, we've never seen Almeida take a punch. I think he's absorbed 2 punches in his UFC career. 2, which is ridiculous. So we'll see if he can eat a punch here from Derek Lewis or a knee. But I think if he gets 1 takedown, it's a wrap there. So from a DraftKings perspective, Almeida makes a lot of sense. 9,600. Takedown upside, first round finish upside. But Derek Lewis is always in play in DraftKings, no matter who he's fighting. 6,600. I think Derek Lewis is probably the best pump play on the board because if he wins, it's probably like a 60-second knockout at 6,600, which is massive there. So, going to be trying to get as much of this fight on DraftKings as possible. I do have to redo my lineups because I had a lot of Victor Hugo as a dog on DK. And so I'm gonna have to redo my lineups, but yeah, I'm gonna try to get a ton of this fight as much as possible in there. And I think somebody's getting finished within a round. And then also on Bet Rivers, they had the fight won't start round 2 at -143 last night, which on other books it's like -225, -250. But it looks like they did move it today on Bet Rivers. It's now -157, which is still not terrible. It's hard to see this fight lasting 5 minutes. It's really hard to see this fight lasting 10 minutes as well. So yeah, give me violence here in this one. Your sportsbook allow double chance Brady, for example, Khabib sub or Connor KO. The only book I know that does that is DraftKings, but I don't think I've ever bet. The only time I bet that prop was the Sean O'Malley Aljamain Sterling fight. They actually had it boosted. I think it was like plus 200. It was Sean O'Malley by knockout or Aljamain Sterling by submission plus 200. That's the only time I bet one of those. I don't love Almeida's takedowns, but maybe he can get a sweep and get Lewis down. He's got to make sure he doesn't get put on his back, though. Having Lewis on top of you is a scary thing to happen. Yeah, I mean, if he pulls hard against Lewis, he's not going to be smart. But yeah, I think his wrestling's decent. I think his wrestling's pretty decent. And he's so physically strong. And he's going to be undersized here, but still, he's so physically strong. He can pick up these big guys and take them down. I have the same parlay, Nascimento, plus the Lewis Jailton under 2.5. I like it. Lewis gave me one of my worst nights ever. I've never been so high on someone. When he fought Blades, I went hard on Blades, and boy, did I pay for that. Literally, yeah, same. I had Blades, I think, in a parlay, or maybe bet him straight. It was a couple years ago. I was so confident in Curtis Blades. So confident. And then Blades proceeded to not shoot a takedown until like the second or third round. And then once he shot in a takedown, he ran right into a big uppercut. Brutal knockout loss. Axel saying, hit the like button, fellas. Appreciate that, Axel. Blom saying, Jailton all day. Only question is, does Derek Lewis last around or not? His grappling is so bad. I think it's round 1 sub. Yeah, it's terrible. Or those hammer fists like he throws from mount. Yeah, even like Shamil was the only guy that lasted more than a round against Almeida in the UFC. And even like that Shamil fight, like he was beating the brakes off of Shamil. So yeah, I don't think he lasts too long. How many units on parlay? A total of 2.75 units on parlays, which I like him. I like the parlay spots this week. Cheers, Brady. Cheers to you as well. I like that. I bet that too. Smart man, great minds think alike. Let's go. I'd be really surprised if this fight hits round 2. Yeah, me too. I would be surprised as well, just because I think Lewis is going to really go after it early, which is going to force Jailton to go after it early, which Jailton gets after it early no matter what. So yeah, I think it's going to be a car crash here. All right. I'll quickly go through the bets and then answer any final questions. The betting breakdown video will be out tonight. I'm absolutely not adding anything. 10 bets, 7 units on the line. Thought I'd have more, but I'll save some ammo for next week. 295, which looks to be a very good betting opportunity card there. All right, only straight bet of the night. Mark D. Casey minus 139, 1.5 units. The 2 parlays I just mentioned, parlaying the fight won't start round 3 with Petrino. 1.5 units, minus 145. And then the fight won't start round 3. Luis Almeida parlayed with Nascimento, minus 125, 1.25 units. I have 1 unit on Gabe Bonfim submission, plus 140. Half unit on Vieira sub 1, plus 500. Quarter unit on Vieira sub 2, plus 850. Petrosyan KO 2, plus 1,000. Quarter unit. Petrosyan KO 3, plus 1,600. Quarter unit. Bohli sub 2, quarter unit, plus 950. Bohli sub 3, quarter unit, plus 1,700. Looking to hit a couple of these big shot props or big money props, and then hoping these parlays come through, and then we'll move on to next week after hopefully a winning night here. Confidence level: Almeida, Bonfim, Renat, Petrino, and Mara. Number 1 would be Bonfim. Number 2 would be Mara, just because she's a cheater. Cheaters always win. So Bonfim, Mara. Number 3 would probably be Renat. Number 4 would be Petrino, and then number 5 would be Almeida, just because he's going against Derek Lewis. But I think all 5 of those should cruise. But anything can happen. I mean, it's MMA, but I think those 5 should go out there and win pretty dominantly. All right. There we go, about an hour in. Thank you all so much for hanging out. If you guys could, leave a like on your way out. Subscribe on your way out as well. And be sure to check out the Best Bet live stream tomorrow in the afternoon. Got Cody, Blood Money coming on. We got Narco Cop coming on. Should be a fun show tomorrow. Talk through these 11 fights. And then next week, a very, very fun 295 card there. So you guys, best of luck. We'll talk to you soon. And last question, do you think Kyle Fernandez can get a decision? I would lean like a first-round finish. I don't think Fernandez has decision cardio, really. But all right, guys, best of luck and enjoy the fights tomorrow. See you.